Good morning and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for Friday, May 20th, 2015.
Good morning. Commissioners Davis, Rodriguez, and Jacinto are present. We have a quorum. Would the Bureau representatives introduce themselves, starting with sanitation?
Good morning. Cecile Buncio with sanitation.
Good morning. Mike Cirillo, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning. Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning. Tom Carabello, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning. Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
And Terry Schmidt, Board Assistant Executive Officer. I have no speaker cards for public comments nor for any other item at this time.
Okay, so then we will go ahead and close general public comment. Our first item of business is the approval of the meeting minutes for the meeting of May 2nd, 2016. Is there a second to my motion to approve those minutes? By Commissioner Jacinto, those meeting minutes will be approved. Going on to agenda item number 1. Communication relative to Robertson's transmitting a release of a stop notice in the amount of $1,439.35 in connection with the La Cienega Boulevard from Olympic Boulevard to Airdrome Street. Street lighting project. Contractor is Norbelco Electric, Inc. Is there a second to my motion to receive that item? Seconded by Commissioner Davis. That item will be received and sent forthwith. Seeing no objections, that'll go forthwith. Item number 2 is an oral report regarding the status of the activities for the Office of Community Beautification. Paul Roch.
Good morning. Paul Roch, Director of the Office of Community Beautification, just with a very quick and brief update on some of the activities that OCB has been involved with recently. As far as the graffiti abatement program, just to give a couple stats from January through the end of April, so 4-month period. OCB contractors removed 9.2 million square feet of graffiti from over 145,000 locations citywide. 52% of the requests for service were completed within 24 hours or less, 64% completed within 48 hours or less, and 71% completed within 72 hours or less. Couple challenges facing the graffiti abatement contractors recently. They have been working basically under the same budget allotment for the past 7 or 8 years. There is a proposed amount that was approved by council in the upcoming budget so that it will be appreciated by the contractors. It was reduced from what was originally suggested by the Budget and Finance Committee by about half. So although an increase is definitely appreciated, if we spread it out to all the contractors, it's not going to allow them to actually put any additional crews on the street, which is kind of what we were hoping for when we proposed the additional amount, is actually to get more crews onto the streets. So we're basically going to have to kind of look at and decide whether we just take the increased allotment and give it to a couple of the contractors in the higher impact areas, and that would allow them to put additional crew or crews on the street, or whether it gets spread amongst all the contractors more or less evenly, gives them all a bit of a bump up, but we won't actually get any additional crews onto the street. One of the challenges the contractors have been facing is they're getting a lot fewer community service workers than they have in the past, and so that's obviously affecting the amount of work that they're able to perform. In a lot of cases where they might have, 2 staff people that could each go out in a truck with maybe 2 or 3 community service workers, now they're not getting any, and for safety reasons and work reasons, those 2 workers have to go out and travel in the same truck together. So it does somewhat reduce the amount of work that contractors are able to perform. And on top of that, we are seeing a rise in the amount of graffiti that's just out there kind of on a citywide basis. It just seems like it's on a upswing tick right now. Since December, OCB contractors that have been involved with the Clean Streets Initiative program, doing public right-of-way cleanup of litter and weeds. To date, they've cleaned over 800 locations, collected more than 20,000 bags of trash, litter, weeds, and debris, and also picked up numerous bulky items that they found out there as well. Volunteer cleanups for the month of March, OCB supported 29 events. In the month of April, I think we perhaps supported more events than we ever have in the past in a one-month period. We helped assist in coordinating and supported 72 neighborhood cleanup events, which is like a huge jump. Even, typically, April and May, which are sort of our busy months, we might have, 40 events. So we almost doubled what we see in a typical busy month. And that's props to, all the different groups that are out there coordinating events and all the volunteers from throughout the city of Los Angeles coming out to clean up their neighborhoods. Just to highlight one event was our Great American Cleanup Median Improvement Program on San Vicente Boulevard. We had volunteers come out through Lowe's and several other organizations that have participated with Keep America Beautiful types of events in the past, and some community folks in the LA Conservation Corps. And we've been working to transform a median that sort of, once the water had to get shut off on it, the plantings and things that had been out there died. So it's being transformed into more of a drought-tolerant median island, and yet something that still looks really nice in the community. So that being said, unless there are any questions, that concludes my report.
I have one question.
Yes,
in
sir.
terms of our relationship with the courts and the less people being referred
Members.
recently, can you tell us why?
Members, please report to the council chambers so that we can begin our work for today. I want to thank Mr. Bloomingfield, Buscaino, Harris Dawson, Martinez, O'Farrell, and Rue for being today's members of the On-Time Caucus. Members, if you're in your offices, please report to the council chambers so
I can
that we
try
can
to compete
begin
with
our
Councilmember
work
West, and I
for
don't know if I'll
today.
be able to. Primarily, one of the main reasons we found is that, the county and the courts are preferring to get the folks that in the past they've given community service hours to. Now they'd rather get the money and the fines. So rather than giving them even the option of perhaps working 100 or 200 hours of community service, they're making them pay the fines because they'd rather get the money than have someone else get the community service hours. So that seems to be one of the issues. The second issue is that the volunteer centers in which the community service workers come through used to cover the cost of the insurance that covered these community service workers, and they no longer do that. So our contractors, if they are going to use community service workers, it's now on them to have to cover the cost of the insurance that covers these volunteers. So when they do use community service workers, it's an additional expense to the contractor. So those seem to be the two factors that are making it more difficult to obtain community service workers.
Paul, given that commentary, was that context and that kind of explanation given in that budget context so that when we were having the dialogue about how we're stretching our resources even further to try and maintain the level of service, not really even just increase it, given what you've just shared, was there any response in
we did include that in some of our budget context, and I think that, council offices definitely realize, and the mayor's office as well, that there are a lot of challenges, both just in the work and in the budgets of the graffiti contractors. Initially, $1.5 million had been approved by the Budget and Finance Committee to be added on to the current contracts, and that would have allowed us to put, again, one extra crew in each of the graffiti contractors' areas, which would really do a good job of helping bump up the work that they do. That amount was reduced at the end of the day back to $600,000, so basically cut it in half. And so again, we're going to have to try to figure out, if we spread it to everybody, it's a nice little increase, but it's not going to get anybody an extra crew. So, we have detailed some of those issues, and we'll continue to highlight them. There was an additional motion, I know made to give OCB some additional resources. In the motions, the council members made at the end, and that got referred off to Budget and Finance. So in the upcoming months, we'll be going to them to try to get that released.
I'm hopeful
Thank you.
that in the future, at least we could have some increase of the court referrals that will be truly helpful, I think, to your program. So
Right.
I don't know if talking to the presiding judge or the court administrator might be something that we might, or you might initiate to see what kind of an agreement we could come up to that would help them to continue to support to at least a larger degree than current, giving us some more people.
Yeah, it seems like it's an issue that just maybe in the last 6 months or so has really started to impact the contractors. So we will kind of be following up both, with the courts and also with the volunteer center to try to figure out, why they're no longer covering the costs of the insurance and stuff
I
for
think
those
that'd be
workers.
important.
Okay, are there any other questions, colleagues? Seeing none, then thank you, Paul. We'll go ahead and receive your oral reports. Thank you
All right,
very much.
thank you.
Have a great weekend. Item number 3 is an oral report on the annual update on composting and mulching operations, Recycling Bureau of Sanitation. Ray Cruz, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners and Representatives. I'm Ray Cruz, the newly appointed Solid Resources Manager, for the Solid Resources Processing and Construction Division. This is Dan Dennering. He is the superintendent at Lopez Canyon Environmental Center. He's going to assist me with some of the displays that we want to show through our mulching and composting process. Our annual report is the Bureau of Sanitation collects approximately 1,800 tons a day of yard trimmings from approximately 750,000 residents on a weekly basis. The majority of our material goes to private contractors for delivery and end processing. However, 400 tons a day we do process through 3 Bureau facilities. Our first facility is a harbor mulching facility, which receives and processes up to 100 tons a day of Bureau collected residential green waste from the harbor and a portion of the West LA area. Our Griffin Park compost facility receives green waste from Griffin Park, biosolids from Hyperion Waste Treatment Plant, and waste from Los Angeles Zoo. The biggest one we have is Lopez Canyon Environmental Center, which receives and processes up to 320 tons a day of Bureau collected residential green waste. We also get 100 tons a week of manure from the East Valley Collection District, as well as 100 tons a day of bulky brush from our private haulers to use in our composting process. Some of the products we brought today, I'm going to have Mr. Dennering show you. First, the bags. We come out with our partially composted mulch. We have 12 bags over there, so if you guys want to try out some of our products. Yeah, there's a bag there saying what you want, okay? And that's our composting, okay? We don't have the raw product here. That's basically what we use for the farming industry. And that's our biggest, what we produce the biggest of, and that's about 5,700 tons to date for this fiscal year. We have around 1,200 tons of partially composted mulch and 5,000 tons of our full composted mulch. The raw and semi-composted material is given away for city residents, farmers, and businesses. Currently, we have 11 giveaway sites. We have a flyer, as well as we're on www.lasand.org. We're trying to get a site in every council district. Right now we have 11, so we have 5 council districts that we have to omit, mostly in the urban areas due to the space limitations and trying to find a spot. So hopefully by the end of next year, we'll be able to have all 15 council district representative for mulch giveaways. Some of the food compost products we do, we work with Rec and Parks. They take a lot of our food compost. The remaining we sell in bulk. Our bags are products we sell to the residents and as our free programs under the title Top Grow. That's our own bag design from LA City. They come in 1.5 cubic liters. We sell them for $2 to the residences, and we also give them away free to any residents that wish to have them. We partner with city plants programs. We supply bulk or bag mulch and compost to many of the tree planting tree giveaways. Whenever possible, we participate in the environmental educational fairs and share our programs, such as our Bureau of Sanitation open houses, our Mayor's Day of Services, our Earth Days we just had recently on April 23rd at Lakeview Terrace. And with this demand as a result of all the programs that we've been conducting, it's really hard for us to even keep the mulch and compost in supply. The demand has really skyrocketed. We're also a member of the United States Composting Council, a national organization who promotes values and benefits of using compost to grow sustainable local plants. We're also very proud to be hosting the 25th Annual Los Angeles Conference, which will be January 23 to 26, 2017. And our own Lopez Canyon Environmental Center was selected for our equipment demonstration show. So we're very proud of that. They're going to utilize our facility to show off some of the newer equipment they have in the composting process. With that's a brief update on our yearly status. Is there any questions?
Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you. Commissioner Rodriguez. Gentlemen, thank you. Great report. Reduce, reuse, recycle in support of our mayor's livable, sustainable city issue. Do we have any of the composting that goes to urban gardens, to nonprofits, to low to moderate income communities who could, benefit from the composting when they might not be able to afford it? Does that happen?
Oh, I know. Go ahead.
What usually happens is that they can come to our 11 different takeaway sites and we get material from those sites. And we do make deliveries, but we normally use the 18-wheelers to make our deliveries. But we do make some deliveries to like organisms and stuff like that. We can set that up with their salesperson and then take smaller deliveries also.
No, thank you. I'd love to explore that, for different projects, whether it's affordable housing projects, urban garden settings that could use, and this is great. This is for use in urban gardens, correct?
We received a few calls recently. Like I said, I've been here 3 months, and I've already had contact with urban gardens as far as them doing the Watts area gardening area. Excellent. So we do deliver highly grade compost that helps in the planning process down there. So we're working with them. Like I said, we're trying to skyrocket, and the demand is here. We're trying to get a better marketing going at this time.
Great. Let it grow.
Thank you.
Anybody who wants to, like contractors working for other departments too, they have to ask us first if we can supply the compost and mulch because we get on the field for free.
Now, I know it's very popular among a lot of gardeners, so it's definitely, more organizations need to be aware of its availability, and those that do know about it take full advantage of it.
We do our best.
We definitely know it's very popular. But thank you. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and receive that oral report. Thank you very much,
Okay,
gentlemen.
thank
Have a
you.
great weekend.
Thank you.
Madam Executive Officer, have we cleared the desk?
Except for the management meeting, and will you be having that today?
No, we won't be having the management meeting today. And seeing no additional business, we will go ahead and adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.